happen in federal prison starting around 2009 when they decided, the newly appointed director of the Federal Bureau of Prisons decided that it was completely legal and legitimate for men in federal prison who had been convicted of all sorts of crime, many of them production of child pornography, that it was okay for these men to get hormone treatments while inside a prison paid for by the government, that they could have hormone treatments taken to an outside hospital, seeing the best professionals, endocrinologists checking their blood, this, that, all of it, taking testosterone blockers through shots or patches and given estrogen and growing breasts and big hips and facial structures changing. They decided this was okay and good and began to promote this. I saw it. I was in one of the prisons where it was one of the pilot programs in Petersburg, Virginia. You can Google it. It's a United States federal prison. And it was nothing short of diabolical. That some of these men in there that were doing 25 or 30 years for whatever, I don't care what they was in jail for. It could have been a bank robber or a drug dealer, whatever. They're going in there. They're in the middle of a 25 or 30-year sentence. It's hard enough. It's oppressive. It's demonic. The whole thing's hard. And now you got a team of counselors in the prison doing interviews, telling a man that's been in prison for 10 years on a 30-year sentence that because he's having some same sex attraction, he's not gay. No. And it's not just because he's been locked up so long and he's lonely. No. He's really a woman trapped in a man's body. See? And the solution to that is we get you on these hormones. And that's exactly what happened. And I saw it with my own eyes. And I'm not talking about one or two cases. I'm talking about when I left that prison, there was hundreds of them there. Did you hear me, y'all? Hundreds walking around. These guys are coming to the street, back out of prison. And when they get back out here and they try to figure out what just happened to them and how they were just confused and programmed, and now they went into prison a man, and now they went through this terrible, crazy time in their life. And they got in there and they were programmed like this in a time of weakness in their life. And now they're walking around with breasts and eyebrows tattooed on them. And it's crazy to think about. But it's the truth. And it's a fact. And because it was happening there, and it was able to be done and be pulled off there, it seemed as if after about 5 years of that, by 2014 or 15, it began to trickle out into mainstream society. All right? Began to trickle out into mainstream society. This is the Prince of the Power of the Air at work. Now the number one show on ETV or whatever is drag queen RuPaul, whatever. Now that's bad. And that's out of ignorance and disobedience on the part of those men. And it's bad. And it's sick. And as bad as that is, if you multiply that times 100, you will see the attack that is on the children in this country. If you multiply that times 100, you will see that. And I'm not talking about the trans issue when it comes to the children. I'm talking about this programming where in the schools, they're saying all this right here, bad. The opposite of this right here is what's really good. It's really the opposite of what's in here. That's what's really good. That's where you need to make your covenant. That's where you need to make your allegiance. That's where you make your allegiance. That's where you make your covenant. with everything that's the opposite of what's in this Bible. Now, you couldn't trick a thinking man into doing that on accident. He would have to literally be making that covenant intentionally. But you could trick a child like that. And that's what I saw happening, y'all. And I see it. And that's what I saw happening. And that's what shocked me so much coming out after 20 years. Can you imagine that, y'all, what I'm saying right now? Please tell me right now if everybody in here can understand what I'm saying. I hadn't driven a car for 20 years. When I came out, they had cars that could park themselves and talk to you, and you could talk to your cell phone in your car. None of those things. I was gone so long. And for all of those things to be as shocking as they are, for there not to have been a smartphone, for all those things to be as shocking as they are, if I'm telling you that the most shocking of all was the attack on a people group in this country that is children probably between the ages of 6 and 15. More shocking than all that